Is this fighter Donnel? He will learn firsthand. It's a fighter! That's gotta be Donnel! Holy shit. You gotta use him? But he won't even be a berserker! Okay, maybe I do have to use him, though. Wait! Wait! These stats are so good! What's the matter, farm boy? Afraid you won't be able to land a single blow? Wait! Wait, this is epic! Wait, this is epic! I thought Donnel sucked. I mean, that's Donnel after he's been trained up to be a fighter, though, right? Like, that's different. Sorry, Hard 5 Gazak. Much like Geese, you've immediately been outclassed by a different axe unit who joined on the same map as you. The fucking FE6 pirate problem will never end. The Berkut line. Meanwhile, Marina just over here fucking aura farming. I knew Gonzalez would not disappoint. I missed the opportunity to try a playable soldier, but then again, Donnel doesn't get general in Awakening. I mean, it could have been like playable soldier promotes into fighter or something. Would have been very silly. I need to yap about Donnel. Go ahead, yap about Donnel. What begs at your heartstrings about Donnel? You have the Donnel yap, and if I have anything interesting to say, I will turn it into an Ice Rider video. Because I feel like anything I would say about Donnel has been said a million times already. Just because, like, the problems with Donnel are so self-evident. But, some people don't see them. So, you know. Donnel effectively has 2 class lines because of how Villager works. Yeah, because in Awakening, Villager it works different from Fates. It doesn't promote. So it just straight up, he just does not get a 3rd class line. Although I think the bigger issue is that neither of his 2nd seal class lines have Lance access. So you train up his Lance rank. And then after you finish the painful Donnel training arc, you have a 2nd painful Donnel training arc on account of needing to train his weapon rank up so he can use something other than bronzes. I hate how Donnel in Awakening is a Lance user, but he promotes to an Axe and Sword user, and he never gets Lance back in training. Well, and so the other thing is that he doesn't even get them back. It would be one thing if it was like, you know, you lose the Lance rank, but then when you promote, you 2nd seal into fighter, right? But then you promote into, like, you know, some Axe Lance class, right? Like Awakening's equivalent of Master of Arms. But he doesn't even have the option to get Lances back in a promoted class. Which I think is the really sad thing. You know, it's not like Ewan, who I don't think the game tracks his anima rank. But in theory, Ewan could, like, because he gets anima back, in like a modern game that tracked the anima rank, he could get his anima rank back, right? I don't think Sacred Stones does. But Donnel doesn't even have that luxury. You know, one of the things that happens with Hayato in Fire Emblem Fates. If you reclass Hayato to Oni, he loses his tome rank initially, but if you promote from Oni Savage to Oni Chieftain, he gets the tome rank back. Sakura, she goes Sky Knight, she loses her staff rank. If you promote from Sky Knight to Falco Knight, she gets the staff rank back. And I think something like that being afforded to Donnel would really help ease the pain of that second training project. He's never going to be a good unit, right? But that's sort of the price that you pay as a trainee. It's very rare for a trainee to be a, you know, quote-unquote good unit. And usually it's either because they offer something unique or because secretly everyone is a trainee. One of the things that I think makes Mozu in Rev a lot better than she might appear just because she's a trainee is secretly everyone in the beginning of Rev is a trainee, aside from Corrin and Early Servant. Even Gunter is a trainee. Even Gunter wants training. But Kaze and Hana and Tsubaki are all and Hayato are all units that want their share of the experience pie. And so the fact that Mozu also demands a pretty disproportionate amount of experience is not unique to her. Whereas in Donnel, I mean, everyone wants experience, but Donnel is significantly behind. Whereas, like, you compare, you know, Mozu versus Hana, they're both struggling before they get that experience bolster. Also, is Donnel going to destroy the village even though he's a fighter? We might have to... Donnel is the literal home wrecker. In Gay Awakening, they gave him Pegasus Knight. See, I actually thought it would be kind of cool if he could promote from Villager to Peg Knight and be like the only male Pegasus Knight. And then also combining Soul plus Gale Force is a pretty nice combination. It's a pretty rare combination. I think Cordelia and her kids get it, and then obviously Robin gets everything because, you know, Robin. Why is Jean here? She's a good unit. Hello, Commander Trainee. Yeah, I mean, we had this talk at the start of the stream. But also, I think the idea is, like, the substitutes, right? Like, in general, the substitutes are just the worst versions of the people they're substituting. I would say in, like, a sub-run, Jean is probably good. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's hard to find a Troubadour who's, like, a truly bad unit. So I think the substitute Troubadour is probably, like, you know, the place to go. This is the most I've ever seen someone use an Armor Knight in FE6. I used the entire Armor Triangle attack in a draft run. It was pretty fun. Yeah, that's a fucking Geese moment right there. Did Donnel replace Echidna or Geese? Neither, actually. Believe it or not, Donnel replaced Gonzalez. And he was a fighter, but he was a fighter that promoted to hero instead of promoting to warrior. I've never played the Binding Blade, but who's Donnel? Donnel is a character from Fire Emblem Awakening. He is an incredibly bad character in Fire Emblem Awakening. Because he's like a super under-leveled training project, and then when you finally finish the training project, you get another training project because now he has E-rank weapons. So he's in, like, a pretty unfortunate situation. But in this game, this is Fire Embad, which now everyone's been replaced by bad units, and it turns out having Awakening growths is good. The Awakening foraging was completely busted. In Fates, it's less busted. Yeah, I mean, the biggest downside, the only thing I would say is, like, the downside of Awakening's forges is you're spending gold on forges instead of rescue staffs, right? Because infinitely viable rescue is so good. But from a balancing perspective, I do find that interesting. He's fun. I mean, I know a lot of people... I know a lot of people have fun with him. Personally, I don't find him fun, and not... not because of some, like, evil anti-trainee propaganda. I actually like training up sort of training projects if they're fun. The biggest reason I don't like Donnel from a design perspective is he, you finish the training arc and get handed a second training arc, and he exists in the game that has, like, it's the everyone has super growths game, right? So he doesn't even have, like, the idea of, yeah, his growths are higher than other units, but when everyone in the cast can snowball, being a unit who snowballs, like, slightly better just isn't as valuable, right? I usually don't get him on his level. Oh, right! That's the other thing, is you have to level him up at least once on his join map in order to get him. Which, I do actually like that idea. I think it's very cute. And it also sort of, like, serves as a, this is what you're in for. If you're down for this sort of, like, terrible training arc, then you can have it. And if you don't want it, then, like, we're not gonna saddle you with him, right? So I think that's, like, a cool decision. But it does definitely contribute to him feeling bad, because Donnel's join map, Paralog 1, it can actually be pretty challenging, especially on Lunatic, but even on hard, if you want to get all of the treasures, which you probably do, because there's a rescue staff in those treasures, right? It can be a very tricky map. And so, being burdened... being burdened with just an additional... like, yet another thing you have to do, right? It just feels like a bit much.